A new report urges the federal government to encourage more home ownership as a central feature of the upcoming national housing strategy. Canada's home ownership rate stood at 67.8% in 2016, down slightly from 70% in 2011. The report from the Macdonald-Laurier Institute acknowledges that its recommendations go against the grain of current thinking about how to address concerns about house prices and personal debt loads. Yet it takes the position that governments have gone too far in recent years to address these concerns, depriving many Canadians of the social and societal benefits that come from home ownership. Story continues below advertisement. One gets the sense that this overemphasis on household indebtedness in bureaucratic circles is partly a result of looking at the Canadian market through a U.S. lens. Despite our clear differences, the report states, unlike in Canada, the United States allows for tax deductions on mortgage interest. The policy has been criticized by economists and is currently being debated south of the border as part of a proposed tax reform. The global financial crisis of 2008 began in the U.S. housing market, where risky subprime mortgages were common. Canada's housing market withstood the crisis, avoiding a major spike in mortgage defaults during that period. The authors of Wednesday's report also express concern that the federal government appears to be overly focused on boosting social housing and is not doing enough to address affordability issues in the broader housing market. The report is written by Macdonald-Laurier Institute Senior Fellow Sean Speer, who held senior fiscal policy positions in the Stephen Harper Conservative government, and Jane Lunderville, a retired University of Guelph professor who specialized in real estate finance and affordable housing issues. Federal officials across several departments have been working for months on a national housing strategy that will be revealed shortly by Jean-Yves Duclos, the Minister of Families, Children and Social Development. The federal strategy is widely expected to be announced on Wednesday, November 22 to coincide with National Housing Day. Story continues below advertisement. Story continues below advertisement. Matthew Fillion, a spokesperson for Mr. Duclos, said the strategy will be wide-ranging and will address both affordable housing and market-based housing. The strategy has already received a budget of $11.2 billion over 11 years in the most recent budget, and the policy document will show how that money will be spent. Municipalities and social housing advocates have urged the government to focus heavily on the housing needs of low-income Canadians through transfers for social housing. The Macdonald-Laurier report notes that while those issues are important, social or affordable rental housing represents only 6% of the housing market. Preliminary reports from the federal government on housing suggest the strategy won't give enough attention to that broader market, they warn. It is difficult not to read the federal government materials as a manifesto on social housing at the expense of new thinking on how to support home ownership in the market-based part of the housing market, the report states.